Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
Vote for
Vote for
P.
Pedro.
And 3,
Number 2.
followed by 1.
Woohoo!
America in a big week, man. It's the fate of the world.
Hangs in the balance, man.
Yeah. And with that going on, you are welcome. You're absolutely 100% welcome. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you. Thank you. The important week of which we speak is, of course, the week after Halloween.
Exactly.
Did you think anything different, y'all? No, it's the week after Halloween. There's still some Halloween candy.
Some candy. My wife went to Walmart today and found a leftover bag of candy corn, so she scooped that up.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's love there, buddy.
Mm.
You ain't worried about your diabetes or the wound in your foot that we'll get a report on later on. But yeah, I got home I was not home for Halloween for the first time in a couple decades or so. I got to be honest, I don't know that I've ever missed a Halloween. Yeah, but I was
Yeah, but you travel, so I mean, I don't know
never
why.
happens though. Nobody ever, it would never. Nobody was ever doing anything on Halloween. I just had to be where I was at. But yeah, we got a big, we had a lot of trick-or-treaters, I believe. They, over 100, 200 or
Dang.
so. But still got a big old bowl of candy down there, which is
I ate all the milk duds before it started, so I just wanted to make sure, or at
I
least
should have
pull
brought
them
it
out
up
of
here
the
before
bucket.
we started recording. We got a big but that's what I told my wife. I said, just please just get this out the house. I don't she says, what do you want me to do with it? I said, go knock, do a reverse trick or treat. Go knock
Yeah.
on the neighbors.
Yeah, find somebody who's got some kids.
Well, they're all over the place. We got kids all over this neighborhood, right? That's what we should do. Just go leave it with a sign on the sidewalk. Here you go. Have at it. Or I guess what I could do is just leave it out for my possums. But I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know that I feel like I don't feel like opening up all the candies to leave to the it would be curious though to see like which that
I'm
is
sure
sort
it's
of an
a piece of paper.
experiment. Yeah, it's an experiment we have going, like putting various, the food we put back there to see what will possums and raccoons eat and what will they walk away from. Um, there's been an egg out there. It's so funny, man. It's like green egg. It's like it's. I don't live in the country, y'all. I live in a neighborhood.
An
It's a
egg, as in a real egg?
real egg, a real raw egg, because we're told that possums, one of their reputations is they eat eggs. Like if they get into a chicken yard, I mean, they're gonna eat, hungry animals are gonna eat whatever
Uh-huh.
they can. But I've always heard that eggs are like a delicacy for most animals,
I
right?
know
They
fox will tear up some eggs.
sure. But
And the chickens that laid them.
I think they're probably just eating too well.
Yeah, when you get in filet mignon from the
They haven't
Martin
had filet in a
household,
while, although they did get about a half of a New York strip the other day. But it's kind
raw
of
eggs a bit much.
yeah, it's kind of funny now because even my wife, when I'm away, my wife will think to throw, she goes, yeah, the possums came back last night. So there you go. But
Well, at least your home's not getting raided, as you alluded to Peanut in your segue into that.
man, that's yeah. I was going to save that for later on, but that's another. It's funny. We talk politics all the time, and in the week of the biggest political week, we're like, man, let's talk about animals and candy. Um, for those of you who did not see this, and I don't, it's hard to dislike a state any more than say California. California gives you ample reason to really, right? But in the state of New York, those of you, some of you may have seen this. If you didn't, because I was like most folks, I was totally unaware of
Right.
this.
I had no idea about this thing.
There's a guy who, and I forget his name. He's pretty jacked. He's a pretty jacked up young guy with tattoos and stuff. Looks like an influencer, I guess, would look.
Mhm.
And but uh, uh found a baby squirrel going back, I guess, a year or two ago or
Yeah, its
longer.
mother was injured or it was abandoned or something.
So basically, raised this baby squirrel, and to the point of it. I mean, that squirrel acted like about as affectionate as a dog. I would say a
Right,
cat, but
right,
cats aren't
and I read
affectionate.
something smart. I think he tried to let it loose, but just didn't want to leave and wasn't capable of surviving in the wild.
So this baby squirrel, he called it Peanut. Uh, he raised it, stayed inside with them, and apparently they also rescued a raccoon. They had a raccoon as well, which you can see footage of that. People do that all the time.
Mhm.
These animals are very easy to domesticate if you
Yeah,
get them
I
very
have a
young.
friend who has who feeds a gazillion of them at her camp on Lake Verret.
Now those no, but that's a little bit different because they're still in the wild, so
Right,
they've got
right.
instincts and whatever. But you feed them, and
But
they
I think the raccoon, if I read correctly, it would sometimes it was inside,
oh,
sometimes it
okay.
was outside.
Okay. So this guy's not living in an apartment. He has a house. Okay.
Right, a house with acreage where he saves or he rehabs animals.
So he has this squirrel, and the squirrel's very docile, very domesticated, and he plays with it. It jumps around on him and everything. And apparently he also made like videos with it.
Mhm, yeah, I think he did like TikTok or even what's the pay service?
Oh, OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah. So making and I want to say part of the proceeds, I don't know if it's all the proceeds, but raised money for
The
animal
animals. Yeah,
save. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Animal rehab.
So now that we've painted this beautiful picture of just human kindness and this stuff, the state of New York, which it just says we cannot let California be the most evil place in the country. So the state of New York, apparently some hag, and that's a scientific term, hag, some hag up there either called in or reported or something, turned
Yeah.
somebody in the town saying that this guy, because it's illegal for, I guess, people to keep what's
Right.
considered a.
Why or non-cats and dogs.
I guess if you walk into PetSmart, yeah. Now think about this: you can have a boa constrictor, you can have a tarantula, you can have
Had them both.
any form of these animal, right? But no, we got to draw the line on what, a squirrel, okay? So gets reported. And New York, and I'm not going to do it. Other people are there. Go to Twitter or X, what do you want to
Mhm.
call it. And you can find the pictures of the people that are in charge of certain things in New York.
Yeah.
They also identified the woman that made the call. Now she's apparently dropped all her social media because what we found here
So,
in a time of division, where this country is divided like it hasn't been in many a year.
yeah.
Everybody pretty much. That's a good. Everybody says this store is ridiculous. They came in. Apparently, I don't know that he was home, but his wife may have been, or
No, I think he was home. Maybe he wasn't there when he got there. Um, but it was a basic, not just knock on the door, say hello, we heard you got a squirrel. They raided the dude's house.
raided the house. They confiscated the squirrel and the raccoon, and they euthanized them.
Right.
They euthanized them. They 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 put both of the animals down. And this is a state that has the largest city in the country in it, rat infested. Okay. A homeless problem. Well, I don't even call it a homeless. Like there's a huge homeless problem, but the
No,
other
dude,
problem,
there's a financial problem like you wouldn't believe, but you're gonna pay guys to do a
right?
5-hour raid on this man's house.
Take his squirrel and his raccoon
Yeah.
and kill them. All right. So I look, our beliefs on it. We try to be down the line, but this is what happens. I don't care, conservative, liberal, whatever, whoever you are. This is the kind of things that happen as our government, as quote unquote officials, become more and more and more powerful. Right? When we just bow and say, "Oh, it's the regulations. That's the this. That's the that." You think, what's the mindset? Honest to goodness, what would you? I don't. I'm not a violent. I'm not really a violent guy. Would you not just swing at that guy? Like,
Well, but they even said that basically he wasn't even allowed to go to the restroom without a guard with him during the 5-hour raid.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that people can truly get their head around what we're talking. With all the things going on,
Right.
all the problems going on, that they're dedicating manpower,
Right. You would think every other problem is solved.
and it's
Yeah,
not
let's
just
go get the
that.
squirrel and the coon.
Now, I heard somebody claim, sounds like a lie to me. Sounds like a lie. They claim that the squirrel bit one of the people, and and the only way to test the animal for rabies is to put it down.
The guy also said that they had gloves on, like what falconers wear, or people that catch the
Right.
eagles and hawks,
Right.
so that the talons don't gouge you.
So yeah, it's. I mean, it's just a nauseating story. It just really is. And look, they got problems. Don't get me wrong, y'all. They got problems in the world, and there's some people, and I can tell which political side you're on. I can't believe people get so upset about a squirrel and blah blah blah. I'm like, it's not. That's not the point.
No,
That's not the point. Well, there's a couple points. It's one, what monster just decides you're gonna just why are you killing a squirrel? If nothing else, just turn it. Okay, whatever. Just there's no need to put down an animal that's
yeah, I'm sure there's some habitat that would take it if you don't want the guy to have it.
someone's pet. And the idea that you can come in, raid a house. Understand, this guy isn't raising pit bulls to fight.
Right.
This guy isn't right. He's not raising illegal black mambas or cobras that are a danger.
Yeah, not a Tiger King.
The dude's got a freaking squirrel he raised from a whatever you call it. What's a squirrel baby? A pup? No?
That I don't know.
Whatever. Hang on a sec here. Hey Siri. What do you call a squirrel baby? Baby squirrels are called kittens.
Kittens.
Did not know that. You're welcome, America. You didn't know that either. And when I
I
say
have
you,
a
I mean
friend who
America, not
has-
just you. I know you didn't know it.
I have a friend who has a squirrel. Same thing. She rescued it and raised it, and it's in her home.
Luckily, she's in Louisiana.
Yeah, but she'll never post it on Facebook or anything, for fear
Hey,
that
you
somebody's
got
gonna
Jeff
say
Landry. Jeff Landry's not going to kill anybody's squirrel. Like Jeff Landry would be going. Jeff Landry, if this was Louisiana, somebody did that, some heads would roll. Heads would roll. But anyway, rest in peace, Peanut. And I feel bad for the raccoon. I don't know what the raccoon's name was.
I don't know what the raccoon was either.
Okay.
I like the way, because it was almost like a bayou way he named it, Peanut. It was just the letter P, then the word nut.
Well,
Wasn't like peanut spelled out, like
Well, that's
T-boy, peanut.
so rest in peace, Peanut. And that was actually in Pine City, New York. So I'm not sure where
Okay.
Pine City
Yeah.
is, but that was the raid that happened. And well, okay, we'll get around to it. It is the week. By the time those of you that are hearing this on the night it drops, it's going to be election eve. Although that's not really the case anymore. People have
Nope.
been voting for weeks.
I don't know. Louisiana's got record turnout.
And sadly, people
early
probably
voting.
will be. Well, let me rephrase this. They won't be voting, but ballots will be continued to be
Yeah.
generated for probably the next week or so. And that's where we are. It's so sad that we're at a state right now in this country, and maybe that's what they want, that neither side will believe the other side. Although
No.
I think one side will believe the other side more than the other. In other words, typically, and that's the other thing. And I want to see the evidence, and maybe it's out there, and I just don't see it. It always seems that only one side is
Yeah.
trying hard to make sure that only the people that are supposed to vote can vote, only one side seems to be concerned that, I mean, whether you want to debate if an illegal, they're not a citizen, if they,
Well, the people who aren't registered, forget that. Just
somebody who is
anybody
not
who's not
legally,
right.
somebody who is not legally in this country and therefore not a legal voting citizen, whether or not you want to debate whether that should change. Okay. I'm pretty sure most of us would agree that you should not be able to vote if you're dead.
All right.
I think we can all agree on that. So
Haven't lived in a state for decades.
so there's only one side that it seems says, "Hey, we got to clean the rolls off. How about that? Like if you're dead, your name." Then other people say, "Why would you bother? Why are you worried about it if somebody's dead? They're obviously they're not going to vote." Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah, because they get that mail-in ballot sent to their house.
100%. Or what was it? Was it Arizona or Nevada? Nevada? I think it was Nevada that just said, "Yeah, we'll take mail-in ballots up to 3 days after the election with no postmark."
No postmark, no
and they
signature.
don't do signature. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's the point now. And people are all over the place. Supposedly there are undercover people everywhere filming, recording. You saw, was it
Well, somewhere they had like a Chinese nationalist or some guy that it might have been in California that
No.
voted.
That was in, I want to say, was it Pennsylvania? Oh, the guy that, yeah, he basically admitted, "I'm not a citizen,"
Right.
and tried to get his ballot back.
Well, yeah, and they said, well, you're going to count it.
They said they couldn't. They said once the ballot's cast, it cannot be pulled.
Cannot be pulled. I think you could just, I could go ahead and take a pretty good guess as to, which candidates could just get a -1 off of their total there.
Apparently, yeah. Well, and that's where we are, and all the polls right now this is really where the BS happens. So on steroids, what's been our mantra for 3 years to you guys?
Everybody's lying.
All lying. They're all lying, and that's what's happening right now. Oh, the polls are tightening. The polls are no, nothing's tightening. Nothing. Now that doesn't mean, it could be a landslide either way, I guess. I don't think that. I think it's going to be either, tight or a landslide in one direction. It's not going to be a landslide in the other direction.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And I'll be curious to see what Tuesday looks like, because so many people have voted already. It's going to be a mad dash. The problem, and this is some of the games you see, they played it last time. Arizona specializes in this, but apparently Pittsburgh has stepped up and decided, oh, no. Nobody can disenfranchise like we can disenfranchise. In certain counties and certain areas of counties that are known to be more, shall we say, conservative, it is incredibly long lines, and they're undermanning the polls, the
voting.
Yeah. Apparently something happened toward the end of early voting in one of the counties up there in Pennsylvania, and cops were there making people get out of line for whatever reason, and said, "No, you can't by law," and they had to sue, and they got sued, and they had to extend the early voting for another couple of days. So the powers that be there, who happened to be on the other side of the majority of that county, said, "Okay, fine." And they put like one employee to work these things, where they were saying it was taking, people were standing 4 and 5 hours in line. And so we'll see. I guarantee you, man, if you haven't voted and you're hearing this on Monday night, or you're hearing this sometime on Tuesday and the polls are still open, bring some water and a sandwich. Stay in line. Get out there and stay in line. Unless you're going to vote wrong, then go stay home.
Stay home.
Just stay home. It's interesting too about, the campaign stuff. Do you see that Kamala was on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Here's
I I didn't see the bit, but what I saw from the photo of the bit, it pretty much looked like something that Trump did on Fallon 8 years ago.
Probably. Well, everything is everything. That's that.
It
That
was the man in the mirror bit.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, here's what's interesting too. So just pull up the story here. Sadly, see while VP Kamala Harris's appearance in the opening segment of Saturday Night Live on Saturday before the president drew massive attention in social and mainstream media. It's been criticized by the commissioner of the Federal Communications Commission, who called it a clear and blatant effort to evade the equal time
Right.
rule. And that actually is true. That's sort of
Oh,
that's
totally. And for those of you who don't know, um, anybody that's regulated by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which includes radio stations, which includes television stations that actually broadcast, as opposed to cable stations, are bound by something called equal time, which means if you give this candidate 1 minute, you're supposed to give the other candidate a minute. Cable news is not regulated by that, so that's why you see that type of stuff on cable. But as far as network television,
right.
yeah, they're giving use of the airwaves for free.
Now we all know they got ways around it and how bogus and biased everything is. By the way, it will be interesting to see what happens if Trump gets in and does and moves towards some of the things they're talking about. They're talking about coming after some of these broadcast licenses.
Right, right.
These licenses are public. They're publicly owned. They are worth billions and billions. And with that comes what you're supposed to be down the line. Equal time at least, right? So here you are, the weekend leading into the. But I did read a funny thing that said, wait, Kamala said she couldn't travel to go see Joe Rogan, but
Yeah.
she can do
Even though she was in Texas.
She can spend right, and she can spend a half day doing. She was there about a half day, I guess, rehearsing the 2 minute, if it was 2 minutes, however long the intro thing was, which is also interesting. The day or the week of, and that's like it's the final sprint now. That's supposed to be in all the states and swing states, and but I don't know how much any of that matters anymore. I guess you have the big rallies.
Yeah. I saw Bill Maher basically said, if you're still undecided, it's like, it's like you're a Christmas Eve shopper.
No such thing.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing. And by the way, I think I said this last week. If you're undecided, please don't vote.
Yeah.
Because that's just not, because if you're, look, I may disagree whatever side you're on, but it's like if you look at the two choices and say, I don't know, it seems the same to me, then okay. Sit.
Yep, just go with that. They are.
Sit this one out and don't complain about any of it. But it was crazy too. Like all the things that they told you, conspiracy theorists, that kind of stuff. Going back a few years ago, it's the first time I started hearing people talk about how bad fluoride in the water is. Right? They said, they've been basically poisoning us with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're claiming, oh yeah, it's for teeth, and they can't really show where it actually helps that much. I mean, like toothpaste with fluoride and whatever, but just like putting fluoride in the water. These studies are showing it lowers IQ points, especially in children and all kinds. So you a conspiracy theorist to even.
Well, let me just add that I grew up on well water, so there you go.
That's why you're so freaking smart, bro. Not me. They poisoned me with that fluoride, dude. I'm a genius. I'm a genius on fluoride. Juan, I'd have been like,
bruh, you'd have been Elon Musk ahead of Elon Musk.
Oh,
we'd be doing this podcast from Mars.
Man, yeah. Gosh darn it. That's be a new line. That guy's smart on fluoride. That's how smart he is. Anyway, with RFK Jr. Being promised a big role in the next administration, that's one of his things right off the bat. Is they want to have an edict out there that all these public works stop putting fluoride in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, and some people say, well, okay, that's sort of big, y'all. That's an admission that, listen, we I guess because you'd go crazy otherwise. Maybe that's why a lot of people are going crazy now. It's so much work to go through life not being able to trust the people
Anything.
or the people who are in charge of major important things
Hmm.
in our lives, right? Um, so if they come around and say, "Hey, you know what's a good thing? We're going to stick this chemical in the water," and so we were just like, "I guess so." I'm sure somebody with a white lab jacket that went to school decided that's some
Well,
good.
there's so many chemicals in everything now. I mean, from the water to food, all the preservatives. It's yeah, it's insane.
Oh well, I can tell you that my wife's on that kick, man. She's on and it might be a lot with the RFK Jr. stuff, getting all the publicity and stuff, and she started going down these rabbit trails with what's this, just you stop and then you start reading the labels, right? Oh, what is
Yeah,
that?
my son will stroll into, he's either got a filter on his faucet or he goes to Whole Foods with gallon and 5 gallon jugs and pays to fill it up with water there.
At Whole Foods.
Yeah,
What's
because he's
special
not
about the Whole Foods water?
because it's not chlor, it has no chemical in it.
So they say.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I've got some what are those straws? I never
Oh, the
used one.
filter, that's
I got those at Sam's a couple 3 years ago, man, when I was prepping. When between COVID and everything, keep waiting for the.
like, could you drink ditch water with one of those?
I didn't. Man, I've never tried it. They say you can't. Pretty much, yeah. You can drink. You can drink out of it. Pretty much any ditch, any lake, any. I don't know that I want to trust it if there's like poisons in the water, but supposedly, yeah, these filters are. For whatever.
If you do want to try, do it when we're recording.
I don't want to find out. If I
But
can find some other ones, like they say it's one of those Sam's deals. Like I went back after, said, "Oh, I'm gonna just buy a ton of these," and they were out and they never came. They never brought them back. But yeah, I would. I could drink some ditch water just to see what. You said
yeah,
dishwater.
if it still doesn't taste, yeah, if it takes the taste of ditch water out, then maybe.
You would think it would, right? Because most of the taste is just going to be a smell. I guess if it's
I don't know.
I
But
don't know. I hope not. I
speaking
hope
of
not.
water, didn't you drive through or travel through a ton of rain this week?
Man, I ought to just charge because that's happened more than once in my travels where I'm traveling to places that don't tend to get a lot of rain. And buddy, I bring the rain with me. But this one was kind of interesting. Now I was in Clovis, New Mexico. Lovely. It's a bigger place than I thought it was, but it's out in a lot of farming, man. A lot of farming, a lot of ranching. Big train stations that go through there. It's only it's I don't know. It's 10 minutes inside of the Texas line New Mexico when you come up. So I flew into Lubbock. Um, and I don't know what their annual rain falls numbers are, but there's no way they're not going to pass it up this year.
Yeah.
They got 5 inches of rain the evening before I had to drive 2 hours back. It should have been like an hour and 20 minutes, but 2 hours back into Lubbock. 5 inches of rain here in Houston that's used to rain is a lot. You'll get some street flooding, dude. 5 inches of rain falls on a just flat as a pool table. A lot of concrete, a lot of area. Street flooding, and hey, guess what? I had to leave my hotel. It was before the sun came up. All right, so I forget what time it was before the sun came up, and I hit Waze, get me out of here. Well, you can guess clip on like what do you want to avoid? You can avoid toll roads. You can avoid this that. There's no avoid.
No avoid floods.
Yeah, somebody needs to get that app up there, dude. This is my mistake. I should have stuck to the main roads that were well lit. That I could have, I could have
See the water.
But Waze, I made the mistake. I hit Waze, and Waze like to show off. Waze wants to think it can save you 12 seconds by making you take 13 different turns, going through back roads and whatever.
Right. Some of which could be in dangerous neighborhoods.
well, not just dangerous neighborhood, every neighborhood was a dangerous neighborhood because the flash flooding that was going on. And I'm driving a Nissan Altima. It's not what I
That's
wanted.
your high riding vehicle.
No, it was, I was a low rider. I had originally booked what I typically book is a small SUV. And I usually go to Hertz, but there was no Hertz in Lubbock, so I had to use Avis. And I go small SUV. So I walk out to the car. I hobble out to the car because my knee is still giving me trouble. And I'm like, oh, what is this? It's, I can't even remember the make of it. I'm not real pleased with it, but what the heck? I'm only going to be in it for a couple of days. And I go in it and I press to try to start it. And I don't think it's starting. And then I realize it's some kind of electric hybrid, blah,
Oh
blah.
yeah, hybrid. Yeah, you can't tell it's running when you first start it.
Well, I got out.
That's how we've left the keys in the car several times.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I was driving a Juan car. Well, I got out, went back, hobbled way back into the thing to talk to the people from Avis saying, hey, y'all got me in some electric thing? Oh, yeah, sir, that's an electric hybrid, blah, 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 blah. I said, you said electric. I don't want it.
Yeah, it's self-charging hybrid is what it is.
Whatever it is. And they were like, oh, no, it's just like, and you can actually put gas in there. I said, you make it sound like it's a trick. I can actually put gas in there. I said, I'm driving off in a couple hours to where I don't know where I'm going. And I think they saw that, hey, if you got some, give me something else. I don't want. Now, if I was comfortable with, I'm saying, like, if I don't like driving vehicles that, like, I don't know. I want to be totally comfortable with what I'm dealing with. Don't make me be one. What's this gauge? What's this do? So I got the Altima instead of being in the SUV. I'm in the Altima. Shout out to Altima owners out there, but they ride kind of low. Not exactly the vehicle you want to be trying to navigate flooded streets. And the problem I had just getting out to get to the interstate was I'm going through these farm roads and near some neighborhoods. I was kind of lucky that the sun wasn't up yet because I'd have been too terrified had I seen what I was driving in and driving through, because
Better to drive blind.
man, and I'm literally driving, forget the road. I'm finding the spot in between. I'm driving the center of the road.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you come across it, there's water all across the road. And then you just hope, I hope this is 3 inches of water and not 3 feet. And every intersection I would come to, some of them had currents going, man. I mean, like, okay, I get to the main road, and I get to a railroad crossing, and I'm behind a bunch of 18-wheelers and stuff, and it's pre-dawn. Sun's not up. Sitting there about 5 minutes, nothing's moving. There's no train. Why are the things down? The lights. I'm realizing, I'll bet you that intersection is flooded, or so I just figure I gotta go get on a plane. So I whip it around. I go find, and I'm looking at the map. I'm looking at the Waze map. Like, how do I get around this? I can go through this neighborhood. Go through. Man, I'm navigating flooded streets, going through, like, it was a job to get to the interstate. I get to the interstate, and I sent you the picture. The front that moved through, that was just torrential, just almost ran. You couldn't have planned it better for me to stay at the very worst part of that storm, like the cutting edge. Like whenever you look at a system that moves through, and you got that front edge, that's where you look at radars, and they got green, dark green, sometimes red, and then that front edge has colors that you need a 64, a box of 64 crayons. Like
Get that deeper red.
the kind of colors that you're not going to get in the basic 8. I mean, just
I even called it up. I pulled up radar and zoomed in on where you were. And as I showed my wife, I said, look, see, that's where Dave is right now. So look, all this red.
man. So, and yes, was it safe for me to pull? Well, what happened was, so I get to the point I'm driving in this Nissan Altima. Shout out to Altima owners. And it sounded like it was raining in the car, right? And I guess that's just a soundproofing issue, but I was looking around saying, is this literally raining in the car? I mean, I'm hearing dripping, okay? Hey, so just this horrible. And lightning shows, man, I told my wife, lightning struck once to the left of me in a field. Now, it seemed like it was a far way off. I don't, 'cause I have a badge of, it struck so long, so like a bolt, like just a, it didn't even look like a regular lightning strike. It looked like a lightning column. Just this, dude, I swear to you, I thought I felt the heat.
Man.
Might have been psychosomatic, I don't know. But I'm also thinking, say, well, they always tell you, safest place to be in a lightning storm is in a car. I'm grounded. I'm, do. And it got to the point of like, man, let me just, at first I thought I was going to try to outrun it. I was just going to, man, if I can, I'll just do
Yeah, just stay
90.
ahead of it.
I'll just do 90,
Or get
95,
ahead of it.
100, just get ahead of this thing. But I couldn't because the roads were so dangerous and there were so many,
Yeah.
you could be zipping along and hit, you just slide. So I figured, well, maybe I'll just pull over somewhere and try to, I got a few minutes. I'll just let it get by me. Problem is there was so much flooding. Every time I'd pull into one of these towns, these little podunk towns, on the way, you're driving through farms and farmland and whatever, and it's just dark and street, and then you see the lights coming up ahead of you, like, oh, there's where the feed store is, and that's where the gas station and the diner and whatever, they were all flooded. They were all water. I couldn't turn off the road. Like I'd have been risking drowning the car trying to get off the road to get into the parking lot of any of these things. That happened on 3 different podunk towns, bro.
Gosh.
I went through one of these towns, and again, it was early, and all the locals woke up and said, "Dang, I'm driving on this. This isn't. You got to be insane." I went through one town through the center turning lane. These towns that have you got 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other way, and you got a center lane that's typically the turning lane. Dude, I had to drive that to get through it because there was water on. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're driving on the peak of the turtle back.
Yeah, and I kept thinking, maybe maybe this would be a good podcast.
Well, we had between Thursday and Friday, I had more than 8 inches of rain.
Really?
Yeah, mostly Friday, and we were at a swim meet Friday, and I was inside, so I was sitting up against a wall and had my back to the outside, so I couldn't even see, and didn't even know until it was over. And then we had, the school had a pop-up tent outside, which is not great in rain, the rain of that level. So my wife goes out there and it is pushing on the top of it to get the water to drain off, and the whole thing collapses, and I'm still inside, and I just watch her go down in a massive puddle square on her butt, man.
Well, okay. Sorry about that. That's unfortunate.
I just wish I had a video going, because man, it was it's humorous.
But aren't you still hopping around? Are you still?
I am, dude. That's why I was sitting on the inside.
Those of you that were, that haven't caught up to last week's episode, Juan, in a tragic Circle K accident.
Yep. Basically impaled my foot on a concrete bolt. So I was able to get a loose fitting shoe on it Saturday.
Okay. Are you still using crutches?
Nah, I'm not good with the crutches. So I fall off of them. So I'm limping. It's it's still swollen some, but now it's just turning blue, like a bruise on the whole foot.
All right.
And the bottom is swollen, so that makes it harder to walk.
How's that? So they got you on antibiotics still? You got
Finish antibiotics on Saturday.
All right.
And I was having to take pictures every day and send it to my doctor. I think I'm done with that. So
okay, well, that's a lot of
yeah,
technology.
it's all right. We'll see.
That'll work. Yeah. No sprints. You and I'd be funny, man. I tell you what, you probably still could beat me in a race right now.
Oh no, I guarantee you, I couldn't beat you in a race before.
Dude, you ought to see me going upstairs right now. You talk about.
Look, this is what I found the most comfortable. This is my daughter's slippers.
Nice.
This is what I wear around the house, which she'll never wear again.
Nice. Well, but at least you know that yours, it is going to heal.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've been playing that game of what do I got now? Is is my knee or my knees? Is it arthritis or is it
It's probably just gone. I mean, I've got that. The where it's go get it x-rayed, you'll see, and
I
it'll
don't want to
depress you.
know.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to. I kind of just I just keep thinking, all right, I'm just not gonna just lay off. I'm not gonna be doing anything for a while, and it's a little better. It's a little better, but
The problem is if it's like mine. I mean, mine's close to bone on bone, and if you're walking somewhere and it starts hurting, yeah, it's not like, oh, I can go sit down for 10 minutes and it'll stop hurting.
you know,
It's
dude,
just, so it could be a combination of things.
I'll be driving, and I can't find a way to get my left leg bent where it's like it just starts. It's hurting.
Hmm.
And that's the okay. Look, I'm not gonna say it's the worst. People have things going on with, but when you have like sharp pain in your knee and you just can't find a way, especially when you're driving, you got other things you need to be worried about. I'm doing it right now. I move my leg like, oh God, yeah, just trying to find a way to like.
Yeah. Well, that could be arthritis if it's hurting when you're not putting any pressure on
Well, that's why that camera just where my leg caught the cord.
it.
There you go. Good.
That's my
Well,
medical advice.
the
So,
joys of getting older, y'all. But that's hey, what's the alternative?
yeah, exactly. But speaking of joy, I wanted to talk about, now that Halloween's over, the massive influx of Christmas ads and everything is gonna start way too soon. But when we were kids, the annual coming of the Sears catalog was a big deal when they'd send out, here's the Christmas wish book.
Everybody got
Um,
excited.
Everybody got excited. I think it came around in early September. You went in and dog-eared the pages for your parents to see what to let Santa Claus bring you. That doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, I've mentioned before that we adopted a kid about a year ago. So I think his name is Melvin or Marvin or something. Yeah, in a third world country.
Okay. Okay. That's making more sense.
Yeah, no,
What's
we do that thing through church or whatever it's got to do.
I got you. I got you. But when it dawned on me when you said that, I'm like, gee, Juan, I think we'd have to spend a little more time talking about if you actually had somebody you adopted
No,
living with.
I'm not sure where he lives. I think it's a little nicer than Baton Rouge, but it is a third world country. Um, but apparently the organization that we have done this funding through sent a little Christmas gift guide.
Are you kidding me?
No, so man, let me just go through a few of the.
Dude, the people we support, they need food.
Well, you can get them some food.
Food and healthcare, and you guys are buying
And
toys.
no, dude, here's a choice. Buy the manger. When you buy the manger, you will provide life-changing gifts for several families. The selection provides four chickens, one pig, two goats, and one cow.
Got you.
$1,292.
1,290, and that is, but okay, this is live animals.
Live animals, right? I could get a pig for $281.
Wasn't it? Okay, help me out here. Wasn't there an organization called Oxfam? Does that ring a
Could
bell?
be.
I want to say, we don't second time here. Hey Siri, what does Oxfam do? Oxfam has been globally recognized leader in providing water sanitation to impoverished and war-torn areas the world over. Well, that's not exactly what I was thinking of, but I do remember back
Yeah,
in the
stuff
day
like that.
seeing,
You could buy, a water filter, which is reasonable for $60.
okay.
Or if they want water without chlorine, I could buy the whole well for just under 10 grand.
You mean without fluoride?
Without fluoride, that's
Yeah.
right.
I think we
So,
might need a touch of chloride. I mean,
yeah.
fluorine, but the
But
fluoride.
it's Christmas wish book.
There you go. I just like I said, this kid I adopted. I don't know what his name is.
I told Riley to send him some candy.
Hey man, the kids would like that more than the chicken. Chicken be
Yeah.
chicken be a better deal for them, but
I did, and then going back a little bit, I was talking about that swim meet this week. So I was sitting there and I realized, you get proud of all the kids. This is a high school meet, so it's not everybody's a superstar. So the people who you ought to be proud of are the people who don't stand a freaking chance of winning anything and are proud of themselves if they finish. Because there were a number of them in this thing. And I told the guy on the side of me, I said, look, man, I'm a quitter by nature. There's no way. So, you know, if I'm struggling, if this race is 200 yards and I'm struggling in the first 50, done, done.
Ramp.
Yeah, just wave the flag or whatever.
Well, that's good, man. The spirit of competition, Juan.
Yep, yep.
Run through. Of
I
course,
don't have that.
these days, no matter where you finish, they probably give you a ribbon.
No, not at this stuff. They don't.
Not at this stuff.
No. Uh, they don't make it to the final because it's preliminary and then finals.
So is this the end? This was the last meet.
This is the last. It's called the city meet, which is kind of if you're familiar with high school sports, it's probably like the district tournament, so to speak.
But
So
there are bigger meets to come.
Their state meet in a couple of weeks.
Okay. I saw you shared some online pictures.
Yeah, she did well.
Riley.
Fourth year in a row, she got swimmer of the meet, which means she's the top girl swimmer.
Nice.
So
Get some more money out of University of Houston, man.
Well, I had an NIL conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I've been assured that either corporately or personally,
Okay.
we could get some funding.
Nice.
Yeah. I said, but make sure that comes to me.
Do you have any idea at this point, like, so those of you that are just catching up here, so Juan's daughter Riley is going to swim at the University of Houston,
Correct.
beginning, I guess, is that the fall of
The fall of
2025?
2025.
Do you have any idea of like their team? I'm sure they've got a solid team. I'm sure they're I got a feeling that, they're a pretty big school.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're competitive. I think they came out second in Pac-12 or something last year.
How does Riley's times compare to
That I don't know. She would know, and my wife would know.
Of course, because it's
I'm
not your
not
job to know that, Juan.
right. I'm not that absorbed.
Just to find out, just see like, hey, what are you walking into? It'd be like
Yeah.
tennis, you go into a tennis scholarship, you try to figure out what seed you're going to be.
Yeah, no, she would know. She knows. I'm sure she does. And I should know more. I mean, it's like, yesterday my mother-in-law saying, Riley's in lane this, and so and so's in this, and so and so's in that lane. And I said, all I need to know is what lane Riley's in.
No, what you need to do is say, I don't need to know what lane Riley's in. I'm about to find out because she's gonna be the one that's a half body length ahead of everybody else, and that was, I just cheer the winner because I know that's who she's gonna be. I don't even watch. I just wait till they put it up. Hey,
that's right. I look at the end.
Nice job. Now this has already happened for the people listening to this podcast, but we had to we gained an hour, so to speak. We set our clocks
back. You get that extra hour.
I'm always confused by back, because to me back would be I guess okay, yeah, you turn it like old fashioned.
Think about it. You got to think about an analog clock.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's whatever you call a clock that has the hands on it.
Yeah. So it's not the job it used to be. I used, because it's my job to get the clocks right in his house, and we still have a few, I guess, that old fashioned, mostly decorative kind of clocks. But
yeah,
like
we've got one like that in the living room, and that's if that thing keeps anywhere near accurate time, it would be a miracle.
Like they say in the old days, the Sunday after church, there'd be people showing up either really early or missing mass.
So most of them, like your phone and your cars, typically update themselves. I guess you can still have cars that don't.
Mine don't. You got to go in. I get into a screen, and you only do it twice a year.
Yeah.
So there's a switch in there about 3 or 4 screens in to turn daylight savings time either on or off.
All right.
But that's always a safe thing to be doing while you're driving too.
Yeah. Because I can't handle it if the time's wrong. A little anal about that. I used to have a car that I bought. I may have talked about this before. when you used to change the stereo in your car, and I bought the display model, so it didn't come with a owner's manual. And this was
Okay.
before the days of the internet, so I couldn't figure out how to change the time. So what I would do on the days that the time changed, I would just go sit out there at 11:59, and I'd pull the fuse, and then I'd put it back in, and then the clock would set itself, like old VCR. If it loses power, it goes to 12.
What the heck?
Hey man, had to get it.
You were that bothered by that?
Yeah, yeah.
You that are unbothered by any number of things that would bother me are that bothered by having the right.
I have to make sure, my microwave clock and my oven clock are within a couple of seconds of each other. They're
Okay.
both in like my line of sight.
Yeah, I'm not. I want them. Yeah, I want them close, but I don't know if I
Yeah,
put
I'm
it
not sitting there popping them,
the
but
second.
as long as they're, within a minute of each other, and the one that's off is going to change soon, I'm okay.
The weird things
But
we
I don't
do.
want. Do you like this time, or you rather the old one, the other
Hate
one?
it, man. Oh, I don't like it.
See,
It gets dark too early, man.
but
It's
you
like,
don't get up real early typically. Not that
well,
I get
not
up
on.
early.
No, well, I mean, when I'm traveling, I do. I mean, and I gotta get up early.
But then it's
We
early enough that it's dark no matter what. I don't like to wake
right.
up at 6:30 and it's dark outside.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice when it's 7 o'clock and you could still. It's kind of nice to get home from work, or travel, whatever, and have, you know, when it's and some parts of the country, we just live in the same area, but some parts of the country is like crazy early. Like it's like 4:45, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
sunset. So yeah,
Well, it depends. I mean, with my son, I think he's on his way back from Minnesota now, was living there. It wouldn't get and this was before the time change, but like towards the end of the summer, sun wouldn't go down till past, 9:30.
yeah. No, that's it's a different color. And what's bad about that is the sun finally goes down, and you think, oh, it's time for night. No, bro, night's over. Like it's time to be ready to go to bed. But yeah, we'll get used to it. Look, we're doing this on November. What's the date today? November 3rd.
Third.
All right, we're talking on November 3rd. Dude, it's humid and 80 something
Yeah.
degrees outside right here. Tomorrow, they're calling for a very humid day, and for whatever reason, windy. We've got wind gusts to 40 miles an hour
Wow.
tomorrow. I know. The heck is that? And then something I not fly out well, not Tuesday. On
Yeah, you
Wednesday.
got that fun flight on Tuesday going to on Wednesday
So I'm
rather
gonna
in
be,
Richmond.
I gotta be up like crack of dawn on Wednesday to get it, to get to go play in Houston traffic to get. That's the worst, man. Houston traffic in the morning to get to the airport. But and I'm
You
gonna
might as well
be
just stay up and watch results.
kinda because
I mean, you're
well
doing
that
your thing on Tuesday or Wednesday?
well
I
there's an
mean, on
event.
Wednesday, you speaking on Wednesday or
I
Thursday?
speak on Thursday, but there's an
Hey,
event on the Wednesday I need to go to. But whatever, we'll see. I'm assuming they're not blowing stuff up by then. We'll of course we don't have election days anymore. We have days.
all right.
So you know, y'all just
Like
be
they say,
cool out
American
there.
Idol can count 50 million votes and during a
Yes.
commercial break, but we can't figure out how to get it done.
How about y'all just be cool, y'all? How about that? How about whatever happens, y'all just, just I'm not as worried. Well, I guess I'm worried about, just the idiots that are gonna do what idiots are gonna do. As much as, potential, bigger players that decide, hey, let's take out the internet. Well, if they do that, you won't be seeing this, y'all. So, we called it here. Can only imagine with the stunts they're going to be pulling on Tuesday to try to disrupt
It's
voting. And we never had that, man.
no.
When was election day ever a scary day? Right?
And why has it gotten? I'd love to know why has it gotten so difficult to finish counting on that day?
Because they want it to be difficult. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? I mean, let's not pretend. Let's not pretend, right? The only thing we move backwards, because it's better when people aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
It's better, and we'd probably all be disgusted if we realized literally how long elections have been manipulated. And when I say manipulated, in all forms and fashion, and So we'll see, man. We'll see if this country's had enough or not, or it'll be curious. Here's what I'm hoping. And again, my thing is always just do a fair whatever. If you're on the losing side, you're on the losing side. Just a fair. And if one side gets their legal voters out and the other side doesn't get their legal voters out, you know what I'm saying? But just what I'm wondering is, because they worry about all the manipulation and machines and so Elon Musk, you can't be more into this than Elon Musk. He's all in, 100% all in, right? He knows a little bit about technology. You just got to wonder what teams they got looking at stuff, monitoring stuff, paying more attention this time to you know what I'm saying? That's
a good point.
That's what I'd be curious about. Like, all right, now that, you can kind of get away with a sucker punch every now and then, but now that somebody's okay, we're looking for
if
the
Trump
punch.
loses, man, you got to wonder what's going to become. Elon's going to be paying through the nose for stuff.
They're putting them all in jail, man. That's
now they're going
part.
after Starlink, saying he's creating all kind of space trash, and
he pointed out something good too the other day that were giving him all kinds of grief for certain things, and they basically pointed out that he gave Starlink to the Ukraine army. And the only reason we forgot about that one, by the way. They're still killing people like crazy. Yeah. Russia's winning, y'all. I'm sorry. That part. I'm not saying overall the world, but that war, they're to the point now in the Ukraine that they're, conscripting. They're basically, if you want to call it a draft, they'll just catch you. Be careful going to the store, right? If you're a male, they're going to, right? 50-something-year-old dudes, man. They're out there just putting them into the machine to get ground meat. But, the only reason that the Ukraine military can even communicate is because of the Starlinks that Elon Musk, so, I mean,
and they've also said, maybe you and I talked about this before. They talked about just, Starlink. If you think about all of the money the government has spent to attempt to bring internet service to rural areas,
and has done nothing,
and have done zero. It could be done in a matter of a couple of days, and I'm exaggerating,
right,
but a whole lot quicker and a whole lot cheaper with Starlink systems. I think you could, for what they spent, you could give everybody a Starlink system in their house.
Yep. But then, well, all right, we're too late toward the end of this podcast to go down that path. And last thing was funny. I got this bank that I spoke at in New Mexico. Good bunch of folks, fun. And end of the night, a lot of times they give you they give you like a gift bag sometimes, and I mean they pay you to be there. Don't get me wrong. Like, hey, I love people, but give me the check. I mean, the mementos are nice, but you typically get to be like a cool a coffee mug or hats or shirts, whatever. These guys gave me a handcrafted, personalized cattleman's knife. It's a big kind of lock blade. It opens up. I'll show you that. I mean, or not, hand done, not a machine, hand done. Nice. And I never thought, I need you guys to mail this to me because TSA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how you gonna get that home?
I said I really like this, and I will keep it on my desk. And then after, it's a big old blade, right? And it's an official cattleman's knife. And the CEO, after it was all said and done, before people were just talking, he said, "Yeah, that's whatever." And he goes, and that's how they show them how they carry and stuff. And he says, when they need to castrate a bull, this is the kind of knife they use.
Good. That's good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, if ever you're in that situation.
So hey, Juan, if you ever told me I'm ever gonna own a bull castrating knife with my initials on it, there you go.
Who'd have thunk it?
It was a good week. All right, y'all. Buffet's before you. There it is. We're going to push the button. Get on out of here. See if any of this stuff stuck to the magic tape in the sky. Hope it did. If you want to reach us, again, not that hard. Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. And of course,
and everywhere else, right here.
Everywhere else. Whatever you're doing now that you hear the dulcet tones of Dave and Juan, just do that again next week. Chances are, unless they take the grid down or all the other nonsense, we should be here. We should be here. Every week we tell you, not a hint, suggestion. We're not implying anything. It's a freaking
mandate.
Live your best week. Got a big week. Big week.
Hopefully it'll be, the best week. It'll be worthy of living your best week.
We'll know. I hope that when Juan and I get together to do this next week, we will know what's up. My suspicion is we're going to be going, oh, what's up? We all become electoral election experts the next week. But just remember, as whatever you see in the next few days, everybody's lying. So be at peace with that. Be at peace with the fact that they're all lying, except
No
us.
matter the outcome, we'll be back.
Except Dave and Juan. We might not be right, but we're not lying.
Nah.
Right. We say a lot of stuff that might not make sense, but it's not, we're not intentionally. Just what it is. It is what it is. And so hopefully everything goes well. Be careful out there. God bless America. Wave the flag. Vote for who you're ever going to vote for, unless it's not who we want. Then whatever. Do your civic duty, and hopefully we'll still have a country in a few weeks and months, and then and we'll go on. We'll get Dave and Juan past 200 episodes. How about that?
All right.
Let's see. We'll do it that way. But okay, everybody, y'all have fun. Be careful out there. Love you, bro.
Back at you, man. So I was running camera in church the other day, and my perch there's raised seating. Think of your seats on the floor and then raised seating.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like a small arena. Theater style seating. So on the flat area in the front of me, I can see something out the corner of my eye. I mean, I'm looking through the camera lens, so I don't see a lot around me. And I noticed something that kept waving. And I kind of looked, I said, is it somebody waving like a jacket or something? What the heck is this? And then they must have walked further up. And I'm now seeing it flashing in my camera lens. And so I look down. There's a girl standing, the music's still going on in church. So there's a girl there waving two flags, like just blue flags on poles.
Okay.
And just waving them, and like to the music. And I'm looking around, and so I flagged one of the ushers. I said, "Is this part of the service?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, y'all got to get her to move, man. I can't. She's in my way." But yeah, so I talked to security after that, and they said, "Well, she said that's just how she prays." And he told her, "Well, you're gonna need to pray like that outside." So,
you're welcome, but your flags aren't, darling.
yeah, man, that was weird. So
there are more. I guess there are worse ways to express your.
Yeah, I guess we allow freestyle worship. That's just a little bit.
Makes you wonder. I would have liked the backstory. When did that come to you?
Yeah.
Did the Lord tell you in a dream? Wave those flags, babe. Wave those. You know what I need? Everybody. Nobody worships me by waving two flags around. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
It's over. Go home.